What if the deadliest thing about a tiger has nothing to do with its teeth, and everything to do with the fact that you'd never see it coming? Picture a tiger, and you imagine a roaring beast charging straight at you across open ground. That image is almost completely wrong. A tiger is the largest cat on Earth. A big male can weigh around 300 kilograms, as much as 6 grown adults. And yet, its single greatest weapon is silence. It doesn't charge, it waits. It hunts by ambush, creeping close and exploding from cover in the last few meters. And here's the part that should surprise you. For all that power, the tiger is a strikingly unsuccessful hunter. Studies of wild tigers put their success rate somewhere between 5 and 20%, meaning that across 10 or 20 attempts, the hunt fails again and again, and only about 1 in 10 ends in a meal. Think about that. The most feared predator in the jungle misses far more often than it wins. So how does something that big, that clumsy at hunting, survive at all? By hunting in the dark, where the advantage is all its own. A tiger does most of its hunting at night, and its night vision is 5 to 6 times sharper than a human's. So it moves through the shadows, while its prey is all but blind. By the time anything senses it, the distance is already gone. But the tiger's deception runs deeper than darkness. Flip a tiger around and look at the back of its ears, and you'll find a bright white spot on each one. Those pale patches act like a second pair of eyes. False eyes staring backward. To an animal creeping up from behind, it becomes impossible to tell which way the tiger is actually facing. A mother uses those same spots to signal her cubs. When she senses danger and flattens her ears, the cubs drop low and vanish into the ground. The whole design is built around one idea: confusion about where the real danger is. And when the ambush finally lands, it doesn't happen the way the movies show it. Tigers don't snap necks with a single dramatic bite. Instead, they take the throat and hold, ending it by suffocation. Quiet, fast, efficient. Here's the strangest twist of all, though. That silent hunter usually wants nothing to do with you. When a tiger isn't hungry, it often ignores humans entirely. There are records of tigers wandering into homes at night and simply lying down near sleeping people. The monster of our nightmares, it turns out, is mostly a ghost that would rather you never noticed it at all. How heavy do you think the biggest cat on Earth actually is? Not house cat heavy. Not even lion heavy. A full-grown tiger can tip the scales at around 300 kilograms. Picture 6 grown adults stacked into a single animal. That's roughly what's padding silently through the forest. And from nose to tail tip, it can stretch to about 3.3 meters, close to 11 feet of muscle wrapped in orange and black. Now here's the part that should unsettle you. That much weight should be slow. It isn't. Over a short distance, a tiger can explode into a sprint of more than 56 kilometers an hour, faster than any human who has ever lived, and it's hauling the mass of a small crowd while it does. But raw speed isn't the weapon you should fear most. Look at the front paws. People stare at the teeth and miss the real danger. A single swipe from a tiger's front leg carries enough force to break bone, enough to bring down a full-grown animal or a person in one motion. To put it in human terms, a tiger punches harder than Mike Tyson. There's no boxer, no fighter, no athlete alive who could trade blows with that. So what does an animal like this actually eat? Almost anything it wants. A tiger's menu runs from deer and wild boar all the way up to bears, crocodiles, even buffalo. And in a single sitting, it can pack away up to 36 kilograms of meat. That's roughly the weight of a 10-year-old child, gone in one meal. And yet, here's the twist. This giant barely makes a sound. It hunts mostly in the dark, and its eyes are built for it. A tiger's night vision is about 6 times sharper than yours, its eyes 6 times more sensitive to light. In near total blackness, it sees you long before you'd ever see it. The only warning you might get is the voice. When a tiger truly opens up, its roar is about 25 times louder than a lawnmower, a sound that rolls through the trees and carries as far as 3 kilometers away. Sit with that for a second. A creature the weight of 6 people, quiet as a shadow, fast as a car, with a paw that shatters bone and a roar you can hear from 2 miles off. Evolution didn't design a house cat here. It built a killer. Your average house cat will fight you tooth and claw to avoid a bath. So here's the part that breaks the rule. The biggest cat on Earth doesn't just tolerate water. It goes looking for it. Everything you think you know about cats and water, the tiger throws straight out the window, because most big cats aren't as tolerant of heat. Lions, leopards, cheetahs, they'd rather find shade and wait it out. Not the tiger. On a blistering hot day, a tiger will wade into a river, lie down, and just soak there for hours, cooling its whole body while the jungle bakes around it. After a big meal, it'll come down to the water to drink, then slide right back in for a dip. It isn't enduring the water. It's enjoying it. And here's what makes that possible. Look at a tiger's paws, and you'll find something no house cat has: webbing between the toes. Not full duck feet, but enough. Those partly webbed paws work like paddles, and paired with that huge muscular chest and those powerful shoulders, the tiger turns into something closer to a swimming machine than a house pet. But how good a swimmer are we actually talking about? Guess how far one of these cats can go. Not across a pond, not across a stream. Tigers have been recorded swimming 29 kilometers across open rivers. That's around 18 miles in the water, in a single stretch. Picture a cat crossing a body of water so wide you can barely see the far bank, and doing it without breaking stride. Now sit with how strange that is. This is an animal from the same family as the pet, curled up on your couch, the one that panics at a few drops from the tap. Yet stretch that family out to over 360 kilograms of muscle and stripes, and suddenly, water isn't the enemy. It's the tiger's element. That's what sets it apart from every other big cat out there. Lions and leopards steer clear of deep water and only swim when they absolutely have to. The tiger is the one that welcomes it, the one that seeks it out for the sheer relief and, it seems, the fun of it. So the next time someone tells you cats just hate water, you've got the perfect answer. The largest cat on the planet is also one of the finest swimmers in the animal kingdom, and it wouldn't have it any other way. Picture a fresh kill, and the tiger doing something you'd never expect. It rakes leaves, dirt, grass, even rocks over the carcass, carefully burying its own meal before it walks away. This is a cat that hides its leftovers, like a diner stashed in a doggy bag where no one else can find it. Why go to the trouble? Because every meal is hard-won, and scavengers are always watching. Here's the number that makes that burial make sense. The most feared predator in the forest, the animal everything else runs from, fails about 9 times out of 10. Roughly 1 in 10 hunts ends in a kill. 9 attempts out of 10, the deer bolts, the boar escapes, and the tiger walks away with nothing. Let that sink in. 9 failures for every success. If that were your batting average at finding dinner, you'd starve by the weekend. So how does the tiger survive a strike rate that bad? Here's the twist. It barely needs to succeed. A tiger only needs about 1 real meal a week. A single large deer can feed it for 7 days. So while it's out hunting every single night, prowling as far as 20 miles in the dark, it doesn't need to win every night. It needs to win once. 1 good ambush, and the pressure's off for days, which is exactly why it guards that kill like treasure. The tiger usually won't eat out in the open where it made the catch. Instead, it drags the whole carcass into cover, into thick brush where prying eyes can't reach. And if it steps away, say, to get a drink of water, it doesn't just leave the meal sitting there. It covers it. Leaves, dirt, grass, rocks, raked over the body so no passing scavenger stumbles onto a free feast. That 1 deer has to last a week, and the tiger knows it. Think about what that really tells you. This isn't brute force winning by strength alone. It's patience. It's an animal that can afford to fail again and again and again, because when it finally lands a hit, it makes that 1 victory stretch. The stalking, the silence, the burying of the kill, it all serves a single ruthless equation. Hunt often, succeed rarely, waste nothing. But surviving on 1 meal a week is only possible if you can actually catch that meal in the first place. And the way a tiger closes the distance is stranger than the hunt itself. Picture the warm, buttery smell of fresh movie theater popcorn. Comforting, right? Now imagine catching that exact scent deep in an Asian jungle. It's not a snack stand. You've just walked into a tiger's territory, and the tiger wants you to know it. Here's the strange part. A tiger's urine really does smell unmistakably like buttered popcorn, and it's not a coincidence. The scent comes from an organic compound called 2-acetyl-1. Pyridine, the very same molecule released when corn kernels heat up and burst. Tigers deposit it onto trees, bushes, and rocks to mark the edges of their home range. And because each individual's scent carries subtle variations, another tiger can sniff that spot and instantly read the owner's age, gender, and reproductive status. It's a chemical business card, left in a language written entirely in smell. A female tiger patrols a range of nearly 8 square miles. A male can claim close to 40. But scent is only half of how these solitary cats talk. Let's talk about the roar, because it does something you have to feel to believe. A tiger's roar can be heard from up to 2 miles away. 2 miles. That alone is a warning shot across the forest. Yet the truly unsettling weapon is the part you can't hear at all. Tigers produce low-pitched infrasound growls so deep they fall below the range of human hearing. You don't hear them, you feel them, a vibration in your chest, and it's thought this combination of an ear-splitting roar and a penetrating growl can trigger a moment of involuntary paralysis. Prey freezes, and a frozen animal is an easy animal to catch. So why don't we hear tigers roaring all the time, the way lions do? Because tigers aren't group animals. They only roar to communicate over long distances or to lay down a territorial line in the sand. Up close, they've got a whole other vocabulary, and it is a rich one. A tiger's vocal repertoire is vast. They grunt, growl, moan, snarl, chuff, hiss, and even gasp. Each of those sounds is believed to mean something different, from a friendly greeting to a sharp warning. This is a creature we picture as a silent killer, quietly conversing in a dozen distinct signals. Then there's the trick that turns the whole thing sinister. Tigers can mimic the calls of other animals, imitating a prey species to lure a curious victim closer, until the popcorn-scented boundary is the last warning it ever ignored. Everyone assumes the most dangerous end of a tiger is the front, the teeth, the eyes, the stare locking onto you. But look at the back of a tiger's head, and you'll find something that shouldn't be there. A second pair of eyes, two bold white spots, one behind each ear, staring right back at you. They're called ocelli, a word that means "I like spots." And that name is not an accident. On the dark fur behind the ears, these pale markings sit exactly where a face would be if the tiger had turned around. It hasn't. But your brain, and more importantly, the brain of whatever the tiger is stalking, can't quite be sure. Here's why that matters. A tiger is a solitary hunter, the largest wild cat on Earth, and it does much of its work in the dark. Its night vision is estimated to be about 6 times sharper than ours. When it moves in on prey, it lowers its head, creeping forward, eyes down, and focused. And the instant that real face drops out of view, the fake one appears. To the deer or wild pig watching, it now looks like the predator is facing the wrong way, like those eyes on the back of the skull are still fixed on them. Which direction is it actually looking? For a prey animal, that half-second of doubt is the difference between running and freezing. But the illusion cuts the other way too. Think about what it's like to be hunted, rather than to be the hunter. Tigers can face threats of their own, and a smaller predator sneaking up from behind suddenly sees 2 eyes turn to meet it. Attacking something that appears to be looking straight at you feels a lot less appealing. The spots make the tiger seem alert in every direction at once, watching over its own back without ever turning around. And that's the quiet genius of it. There's no muscle here, no movement, no energy spent. It's just pigment, 2 patches of white fur that do the work of a second set of eyes, 24 hours a day, whether the tiger is hunting or being watched. Every tiger carries them, this permanent bluff stitched into its coat. So, the next time you picture a tiger's stare, remember, it isn't facing you at all. The eyes watching your every move might be the ones that can't see a thing. An adult male tiger can weigh close to 300 kilograms. One swipe of its front paw is powerful enough to break bones. It is the largest cat on Earth, a solitary hunter that can sprint at over 60 kilometers an hour. And yet every one of them began life as something almost helpless, a blind, tiny cub that couldn't even find its own mother, because tiger cubs are born completely blind. They open their eyes to nothing. In those first days, They can't see the mother standing right beside them, can't see the den around them, can't see danger coming. All they have is scent. They follow the smell of their mother, pressing toward her warmth. And that faint trail of scent is the thin line between life and death. Here's the number that stays with you. Only about half of all tiger cubs survive. Flip a coin over a newborn litter, and that is roughly its odds. So what is actually stalking these cubs? Start with the quiet killers, cold and hunger. A cub that can't keep up, that loses the scent, that gets separated even briefly, can simply die of cold or starve. There's no pack to fall back on, no other adult watching over the litter. There is only the mother, and she cannot be everywhere at once. But the cold isn't the strangest threat. The strangest threat is other tigers. Rival males will sometimes kill the cubs of a female because a mother with no cubs becomes available to mate again. Think about that. The greatest danger to a tiger cub can be a fully grown tiger of its own kind. So how does a mother protect the blind and the small against all of that? Watch her ears. A tigress has bright white spots on the back of them, and they work like signal flags. When she senses danger, she flattens those ears. The cubs read the signal instantly and drop low, crouching down, going still, hiding in the grass. It's a silent language between a mother and young that can't yet see the world they've been born into. That is a tiger's childhood, one of the toughest gauntlets in the wild. Blind at the start, hunted by cold, by hunger, and even by their own. The ones that make it through, the survivors of that coin flip, are the ones that grow into the most feared predator in the forest. How many wild tigers do you think are left on the entire planet? Not hundreds of thousands, not even 100,000, though that's roughly how many roamed Asia just a century ago. Today, the best estimates put it at around 3,000 to 4,000. Fewer than 4,000 wild tigers in the whole world. Now here's the number that should stop you cold. In the United States alone, experts believe there are around 5,000 tigers living in captivity. That means one country with no native wild tigers at all may be holding more of these cats than exist in the wild across every jungle, forest, and grassland on Earth combined. And where are they? Not where you'd guess. According to the World Wildlife Fund, only about 6% of America's captive tigers live in accredited zoos. The rest are in backyards, private breeding facilities, small theme parks, and roadside attractions. In many states, it is perfectly legal to keep a full-grown tiger behind your house. Let that sink in. An animal that can kill with a single swipe of its paw, kept next to somebody's lawnmower. But surely all that breeding helps the species, right? Here's the twist. It doesn't. These captive cats are bred for entertainment and photo ops, not for conservation. They're not part of any scientific stud book, and because they were raised by humans instead of a tigress, they could never be released and survive in the wild. More tigers in cages does nothing to save tigers in the wild. So is this just a hopeless slide toward extinction? Not quite. And this is the part worth holding on to. The wild population, though tiny, is being counted and defended like never before. India, home to over half the world's wild tigers with roughly 3,700 of them, ran the largest camera trap survey ever recorded, identifying individual cats by their stripes, which are as unique as your fingerprints. Every week, on average, about 2 tigers are seized from illegal traffickers, and conservation groups are pushing governments to shut that trade down for good. The wild tiger isn't gone, but whether it survives depends on people paying attention. People exactly like you. If these cats amazed you today, subscribe and keep watching. Because the more of us who understand what's at stake, the better their odds of running wild for generations to come.